Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get our program started. It is my privilege and honor to have two very dear friends with me here today to perform in this concert and be part of the installation. First is Hazzan Tappler, who is the spiritual leader of Beth Shalom of Whittier in Whittier, California. And then, of course, another dear friend of mine who has been my voice teacher, acting coach, a little bit of a life coach as well for the past 15 years. And that is somebody directly from Broadway, a very lucrative Broadway career, Paul Schoeffler. We're going to get the program started today, and we're going to begin with something to celebrate the joy of this celebration. This is Mayor Finkelstein's, Cantor Mayor Finkelstein's setting of Yismechu.
Yismechu v'malchutecha, Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei Shevi'i Shabbat. Kulam yisbiyu veyitangu metuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Ve'hashevi'i ratzita bo, ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, chemdat yamim oto karata, zecher lema'aseh Vereshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'korei oneg, v'korei oneg, v'korei oneg Shabbat.
Thank you, Hazzan Tappler. Thank you. Okay, the very first time that I kind of came to the realization that I wanted to become a cantor, I was actually 13 years old. I was singing in my synagogue choir, and which was conducted and led by the cantor that I grew up with. And I saw the influence that he had on us and had on the community. And that's what initially attracted me to become part of the clergy, become a cantor. And so I began taking voice lessons and cantorial lessons with my cantor. And the very first time that I sang in a cantorial concert, a very heavy old school cantorial piece. I was 14 years old. And so I would like to share that piece of cantorial music with you today. This is the piece Velirushalayim Ircha, written by Abraham Elstein. Velirushalayim Ircha, Velirushalayim Ircha, Berachamim Toshuv, Berachamim Toshuv, Vetishkon betocha, Vetishkon betocha, Vetishkon betocha, Kosher diparta, Velirushalayim Ircha, Berachamim Toshuv, Vetishkon betocha, Vetishkon betocha, Kasher dibarta. Uvnei ota bekarov, Uvnei ota bekarov, Uvnei ota bekarov, bekarov be'aneinu, Binyan, Binyan, Binyan olam. Velirushalayim Ircha, Berachamim Toshuv, Velirushalayim Ircha, Berachamim Toshuv, Vetishkon betocha, Kasher dibarta, Vetishkon betocha, Kasher dibarta, Velirushalayim Ircha, Berachamim, Berachamim Toshuv, Vechisei David, David avdecha, Meheira letocha, Tochin.
Baruch atah Adonai. Bonei, 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 Yerushalayim. Bonei, 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 Yerushalayim. Bonei, Yerushalayim. Bonei, bonei, Yerushalayim.
Thank you for indulging me. I know that during a regular service, doing that often would probably not, go over so well all the time. But sometimes, there's still a place for it. Many of you may have heard, and it's also in my biography, I've talked about it quite a lot, that what first got me into music was not singing per se, but it was playing the violin. And what inspired me to play the violin was seeing the musical Fiddler on the Roof. So Fiddler has always had a very, very close place in my heart. And so to share a little bit of Fiddler with you, here is If I Were a Rich Man. Dear God, you've made many, many poor people. I realize, of course, it's no shame to be poor, but it's no great honor either. So what would have been so terrible if I had a small fortune? If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a bitty rich, diddle man, I'd build a big tall house with rooms by the dozen right in the middle of the town. A fine tin roof with real wooden floors below. There would be one long staircase just going up, and one even longer coming down, and one more leading nowhere just for show. I'd fill my yard with chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks for the town to see and hear, squawking just as noisily as they can. And each loud will land like a trumpet on the ear, as if to say, here lives a wealthy man. If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a bitty rich, diddle man, I'd see my wife, my Golda, looking like a rich man's wife with a proper double chin, supervising meals to her heart's delight. I'd see her putting on airs and strutting like a peacock. Oi, what a happy mood she's in. Screaming at the servants day and night. The most important men in town will come to fawn on me. They will ask me to advise them, like Solomon the wise. If you please, Reptevier, pardon me, Reptevier. Posing problems that would cross a rabbi's eyes. Yabba boy, noi. Yabba boy, yabba boy. Oh, boy. And it won't make one bit of difference if I answer right or wrong. When you're rich, they think you really know. If I were rich, I'd have the time that I lack to sit in the synagogue and pray, and maybe have a seat by the eastern wall. And I discuss the holy books with the learned men 7 hours every day. And that would be the sweetest thing of all. If I were a rich man, all day long I'd bitty bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were a wealthy man? Thank you. I now would like to invite back up my dear friend and mentor, Hazzan Tappler.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it, right? Wasn't he great? All right, so Hazzan Zavel Zilberts, what a name, right? Zavel Zilberts was one of the great Chazonim who came to the United States. And he had an eye toward bringing a bit of Europe to the United States in Jewish music, but a way to make a bridge. So this piece that comes from the Shacharit Kedusha is actually crafted like a Verdi or Puccini aria, as you'll hear. So in a sense, this is Jewish opera at its finest. Mimkomcha. Mimakomcha Malkeinu Tofinu
ותמלוך עלינו, ותמלוך עלינו, ותמלוך עלינו, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון, מתי תמלוך בציון, מתי תמלוך בציון, תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בימינו, בקרוב בימינו, לעולם ועד תשכון, תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים, בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, ולנצח, ולנצח, נצחים. ועינינו תראנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, ועינינו תראנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח, על ידי דוד משיח, על ידי דוד משיח, צדקך.
When I was in high school, I was very shy until I did a musical play by the name of Les Mis. Who here knows of Les Mis? Yeah. And I played the role of Inspector Javert, which kind of is one of the lead roles. It helped me get out of my shell a little bit and kind of helped me grow as a person a little bit. The song Stars, which is the song that Javert sings in the show, has always had a very special place in my heart. And there came, for this concert, a choice. Should I sing it, or should I have someone who has done it professionally multiple times sing it? And I think the choice became pretty clear. Paul has played Javert numerous times in professional productions, including the U.S. Broadway tour of Les Mis. So I'm very happy he was able to be here for today's performance, and he will be singing Stars from Les Mis. Paul.
There, out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from grace, fallen from grace. God be my witness, I never shall yield till we come face to face, till we come face to face. He knows his way in the dark, but mine is the way of the Lord, and those who follow the path of the righteous shall have their reward. And if they fall as Lucifer fell, the flame, the sword. Stars in your multitudes, scarce to be counted, filling the darkness with order and light. You are the sentinels, silent and sure, keeping watch in the night, keeping watch in the night. You know your place in the sky, you hold your course and your aim, and each in your season returns and returns, and is always the same. And if you fall as Lucifer fell, you fall in flames. And so it has been, and so it is written on the doorway to paradise, that those who falter and those who fall must pay the price. Lord, let me find him, that I may see him, safe behind bars. I will never rest till then. This I swear by the stars.
I'm never singing that song again. Many of you might remember from the 1950s, the Broadway musical version of Peter Pan that starred Mary Martin and Cyril Richard. Peter Pan was then revived in the 90s, and it starred Kathy Rigby. Paul originated Captain Hook in the revival of Peter Pan in the 90s. So Paul was the Captain Hook that I grew up with. Paul has also played the role of the Pirate King in Gilbert and Sullivan's Pirate of Penzance professionally as well. These are both two roles that I would love to play someday. I don't know if that will ever happen, but they are two roles that I definitely want to do. And so why not start by trying to do that a little bit today, here. So I'm gonna invite Paul back up for a little special pirate duet, shall we say. Better far to live and die under the brave black flag I fly than play a sanctimonious part with a pirate head and a pirate heart. Away to the cheating world go you, where pirates are a well-to-do. But I'll be true to the song I sing and live and die a pirate king. Pirate King. Pirate King.
Captain Hook, Captain Hook, Captain of villainy, murder and loot, eager to kill any who says that my hook isn't cute.
For I am a pirate king. And it is a glorious thing to be a pirate king, for I am a pirate king. And it is a glorious thing to be a pirate king. It is, hurrah for the pirate king, hurrah for the pirate king. When
rat in the pack, Captain Hook, Captain Hook, who's unlovable, who's unlivable, whose existence is just unforgivable, who would stoop to the lowest and cheapest of tricks in the book. Blimey, slimy, Captain Hook. Mortals envy me. Yet better perhaps for Hook to have had less ambition. Oh, fame, fame, thou glittering bauble, in searching for thee, what fame have I not lost? No, little children love me.
No kidding.
I'm told that tiny tots act out stories of Peter Pan, and that the strongest always chooses to be Peter. They force the baby to be Hook. The baby! No! By carbonate of soda, no!
Who's the slimiest?
The doggiest!
The slimiest! Who's the
it is a glorious thing to be a pirate king.
What a prize, what a joy, Mrs. Hook's little baby boy. The skirt of the see just a little old me. Captain Yo ho! Wasn't that fun? For those of you that were here on Purim and you saw what I was dressed as Captain Hook, you'll have a better understanding of that kind of thing. But okay. In college, I studied a bit of opera. I like to listen to opera, and I like to attend opera when I can. And one of the very first arias that I learned, and that was very meaningful to me, comes from the opera Don Pasquale, written by Donizetti, and it's called Bella siccome un angelo, where one character is trying to convince another character to basically envision the type of love and the type of person that they want to be with. So this is Bella siccome un angelo. Bella siccome un angelo in terra pellegrino, fresca siccome un giglio che s'apre sul mattino, occhio che parla e ride, sguardo che cor conchide, chioma che vince l'evano, sorriso incantator, sorriso incantator. Alma innocente ingenua, che se medesima ignora, modestia impareggiabile, bontà che vi innamora, ai miseri pietosa, gentile, dolce, amorosa, il ciel l'ha fatta nascere per far beata un cor, beato un cor. Il ciel l'ha fatta nascere per far beata un cor, per far beata un cor. Il ciel l'ha fatta nascere per far beato, beato, per far beato, per far beato un cor. I'd like to invite back up Hazzan Tappler, who will introduce the next piece.
And so also in the Italian realm, for any of you who've been watching the Metropolitan Opera in the movie theaters or have gone to New York, this last year at the Met, they brought back an opera from the early 20th century by the great composer Umberto Giordano. The opera is Fedora, and this is a love song by the character Loris Ipanov. What a name, right? Loris Ipanov to the woman he wants to have be his wife. Amor ti vieta.
Amor ti vieta, di non amar la man tua lieve che mi respinge, cerca la stretta nella mia man, la tua pupilla esprime amor. Se labbro dice non t'amerò.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ellen Finston. I'm a past president of the congregation and co-chair of the search committee. It is my pleasure to have Ellen Satz, who is the chair of the search committee and the installation committee, and Jonas Actor, who is the chair of our ritual committee, join me on the bima at this time as we begin the installation ceremony. Cantor?
Eloheinu v'lehei avotenu, heya im pipiyot shluchei amcha beit Yisrael, ha'omdim levakesh tefillah v'tachnonim lefanecha al amcha beit Yisrael. Horim ma sheyomru, havinim ma shidaberu, hashivim ma sheyish'alu, yad'em hech yafaru, ba'or panecha yalechun, berech lecha yichru'un, amcha b'fiyam yivarchun, u'mivarchot picha kulam yitbarachun.
Our God and God of our ancestors, inspire the lips of those who have been appointed by your people, the house of Israel, to stand in prayer before you, to reach out to you on their behalf. Teach them what to say, grant them what they ask, inform them how best to glorify you. May they walk in the light of your Spirit, and by their blessings, may we all be blessed.
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and sustain Hazzan Angress. Grant him wisdom and compassion in equal measure to teach and comfort those in need. Grant him strength to continue work in difficult times and generosity to share abundance when life is full. May he be blessed with a welcoming and supportive congregation and community. May Hazzan Angress help congregation Bnai Israel continue to be a home for celebration and exploration of Jewish learning, spirituality, and community. May Torah and tradition continue to be a source of joy for him, and may he be blessed with insight and inspiration as he contributes to Jewish learning and practice. May words of wisdom come from his lips and compassion fill his heart as we move together from strength to strength. Amen.
Before I begin, and it's been said many times already this weekend, I want to thank the search committee and the installation committee for all their hard work to get us to this point. As chair of the ritual committee, on behalf of the board of trustees, on behalf of the congregation, I want to welcome you, Hazzan Angress, you, your family, Hazzan Tappler, Mr. Schoeffler, all the guests, and all of you here to Albuquerque, here to New Mexico. Provide a couple quick remarks as you begin your tenure here in New Mexico with Congregation Bnai Israel. They say that New Mexico is the land of enchantment, and while I've only been here about 1 year longer than you have, in my experience, that moniker is definitely true. It's not just the physical environment and the scenery that's enchanting and immersive, the surrounding mountains, the petroglyphs, the gorgeous historic sanctuary we find ourselves in. It's also the people here that are utterly enchanting, the kind, welcoming individuals who truly reflect both the majestic and the quotidian character of this place. They draw you in here, and as I've gotten to know them, as I've gotten to know all of you, I've learned that everyone here has a unique story of their past, of their history with the synagogue, and their relationship to this place. At this moment of your installation, I hope that as you begin your tenure here, that you have a chance to explore, unpack, to listen to these individuals, listen to this place, their stories, and become enchanted with the people here as I have. Just like the people here, this congregation has a unique story too, which Harvey, our president, described so eloquently yesterday. And I'm excited for you to take your place in that story. Working with you in your first 6 months here, I've been privileged to view your leadership in guiding this congregation on a path towards growth, towards new heights, new places. You exude this presence and passion for being on the bima that we've seen today. And I hope that this will infuse and enrich the spiritual life, not just here in this synagogue, but across Jewish life in Albuquerque and New Mexico. Your musicality has provided a dynamic spark that has energized this congregation, and I look forward to the new tunes and melodies that you plan to bring to services each and every week. On behalf of the Ritual Committee, the Search Committee, and all of Congregation Bnai Israel, I want to welcome you in your installation as the spiritual leaders of our congregation. And as you begin your tenure, I hope you find your home and your place here. And I look forward to your hand, maybe your hook, and a voice providing guidance, leadership, and direction in the years to come. Thank you. Congratulations. Mazel tov.
The Hebrew word yad means hand. The yad is the pointer that is used by the Torah reader to keep his or her place when reading from the Torah. I give you this yad, and I add to your responsibilities the families, the single persons, and the history of our congregation, whom you will be guiding. You will be bringing our congregational family to its next level of growth. And I give you this yad as a symbol of your role as the teacher of Torah, the interpreter of Jewish tradition, as you embrace our congregational family. Mazel tov.
Thank you. If you look really carefully, it even looks like a hook, doesn't it?
At this point, I'd like to call on Hazzan Tappler, who will conduct the formal installation prayers, and I believe he has some words to share with Hazzan Angress.
Well, this moment has finally come. Come a little closer, you don't have to be so far. Dear friends, I've known your Hazzan, soon-to-be rabbi, Jonathan Angress, for a good long time. I must tell you, you are very blessed, as he is blessed. tremendous in all ways guy. I know greatness in this community it deserves. He will be for Bnai Israel all of what you want and expect. Jonathan for this congregation. Well, he's already done that and will continue to do much more. He is, as my temple president said of me, the face of Bnai Israel. And in his face, so will you reflect, and in your faces, so will he reflect. And you all, I know, will be the great inheritors of our tradition interpreted by him that will lead you to the wonderful spiritual heights that this congregation wants and needs. And so I invite all of you to rise now as I invoke the priestly blessing upon him. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord lift up his gracious countenance to you and give you his great countenance. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord lift up his gracious countenance to you and grant you his most perfect gift of shalom. Congratulations, Mazal. And while you're standing, and before I turn this over to him for some remarks, let's recite together the prayer of our people for such wonderful milestones in our lives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Praised are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has sustained us and enabled us to reach this milestone. Amen. You can be seated.
Thank you, Hazzan Tappler, and the members of Bnai Israel's lay leadership representing our former rabbinical search committee and our current ritual committee, Ellen Satz, Ellen Finston, and Jonas Actor. Many of you might remember my very first sermon that I gave on this bima, not on my first Shabbat in the position, but during my interview weekend last August. It was during the Friday night Kabbalat Shabbat service, and the sermon began with the phrase, "When I was 5 years old, I saw the musical Fiddler on the Roof." By now, and as I mentioned before, most of you have learned how meaningful and important Fiddler has become and how it was instrumental in setting me on the path to becoming a musician, a cantor, and pretty soon, a rabbi. And for those who have not heard the story, the basics are that Fiddler inspired me to learn to play the violin, which in turn inspired and informed my ability to sing. My love for music and Judaism then combined, led me down the path to become a cantor, which in turn fed my calling to become ordained as a rabbi, which is due to happen in the next several months. Now, many people have asked me, what is an installation? I admit that I never heard of such a thing until I was studying in seminary. But the basic idea behind a clergy installation is that both the community and said clergy are publicly acknowledging the need for one another and the long-term commitment towards one another. Installation ceremonies function and appear differently based on the individual clergy and the community. And because I am a cantor, almost rabbi, we decided for this installation to be musically themed and for the ceremony itself to be part of a musical celebration concert. The selections you heard this afternoon are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the musical styles and genres that I personally enjoy, but more importantly, enjoy sharing with you. Upbeat and singable tunes written by the most distinguished and prolific cantors of the 21st century, traditional old-school Hazzanut and cantorial art, which still has a place in our musical landscape today, a little bit of light opera, and my absolute favorite, selections from Broadway musical theater, which have also had a profound influence on my life and both my musical and spiritual journey. With that being said, today's celebration could not have happened without the support and effort of multiple people both inside and outside of Bnai Israel, as well as my own personal life. For fear of sounding like a traditional bar bat mitzvah speech, many of you may have read the most recent Schoeffler article, where I got into more detail about those that I am still indebtedly thankful for. First, this concert would not have been able to happen had it not been for my colleagues and co-performers today. So I would first like to acknowledge and thank our accompanist, Nancy Granert, who not only provided her wonderful piano accompaniment skills today, but also for our Friday night service 2 nights ago to kickstart our installation weekend. Nancy, it is such a pleasure to work with you and to have you as our accompanist here at Bnai Israel. Thank you. Moments ago, you heard an amazing talent coming directly from the Broadway stage, the voice and performance of Broadway veteran Paul Schoeffler. Paul has starred in nearly 40 different Broadway, off-Broadway, and professional regional theater productions. Paul, it has been nearly 15 years since we started working together with you as my teacher, and nearly just as long to have us perform together, especially in a Jewish context. It means so much to me that you are finally able to be here and that we have performed together on stage. And now that that's happened, my next goal is to get you to sing exclusively in Hebrew. Nearly a decade ago, I attended one of my first cantorial conferences hosted by the Cantors Assembly. One of the very first people I met within minutes of arriving was Hazzan Lance Tappler. Right away, I knew we were cut from a similar cloth in that our singing styles were very similar, and we both have a shared love and interest in similar musical styles, both Jewish and secular. We quickly became fast friends, and over the past several years, Hazzan Tappler has become a mentor to me, not just in regards to musical cantorial skills, but even more so in leadership skills and navigating synagogue life. as he too is the sole spiritual leader of his congregation and much more seasoned and experienced than me. It is because of this that I chose you to be here today, and not only to sing in the concert, but also to co-officiate the moment which happened minutes ago in which I was formally installed. Hazzan Tappler. Thank you for not only being here today to make this installation meaningful to me, but for the years of guidance, mentoring, and friendship that has ensured my success. And I look forward to all of it continuing for a long time. Within the Bnai Israel community, I must give thanks to Ellen Satz, Ellen Finston, and Esther Tenenbaum, who co-led the Rabbinical Search Committee last year at the time that I was hired, our installation committee, Jill Petrusnik, Amanda Cohen-Bandy, Ellen Finston, and again led by Ellen Satz, Jonas Actor, who is our ritual committee chair and who has been invaluable in helping me navigate the religious and ritual landscape of the congregation, Sarah Eagleman, who is our religious school director, and who has been an absolute joy to work with and has been an excellent guide in helping me establish my role within our school. Our office manager, Anna Alexander, without whom I would be lost in terms of learning about the different members of our congregation and our daily operations. And of course, last but not least, our president, Harvey Buchalter, who has not only become my partner in leading this community, but also a friend and supporter of my leadership as the spiritual leader of this congregation. Thank you all. I would also like to make a special acknowledgement and thank our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Arthur Flicker, for not only welcoming me and my family so warmly to Albuquerque and to Bnai Israel, but also for your assistance in helping me transition into the role, as well as providing information about the Minhag HaMakom, the lay of the land, and everyone in it. Your continued support and assistance is greatly valued, appreciated, and welcomed. Of course, I would not be here where I am today without the love and support of several people in my personal life. When I originally graduated from the Jewish Theological Seminary almost 10 years ago, I was originally in negotiations with a congregation in New York to become their cantor. That was until I received an offer from my grandparents' synagogue in South Florida. And the choice became obvious as I wanted to be near my family and be in a community that was familiar. After a couple of years, though, it became clear that I needed to branch out, which resulted in my relocating to Phoenix almost 7 years ago, which then led to me coming here to Albuquerque. Of course, moving away from my family was hard, not only for me, but more so for my family. That is why it is so special to me that my parents were able to be here this weekend all the way from Miami. And it means much more than that. The love, encouragement, and guidance that has been provided to me my entire life, and still continues to this day, has played the biggest role in getting me to where I am. You being here today to celebrate this milestone further cements that. Even though I may not say it enough, I love you both. Originally, my parents were supposed to join us this weekend as part of a posse of 3, along with my grandmother. Unfortunately, my grandmother was unable to make it in person, but I know she is watching diligently on Facebook, as she and my family do every weekend on Shabbat. Grandma, I wish you were here with us so that everyone could meet you. At the very least, your reputation with chopped liver precedes you. But in all seriousness, you, along with Grandpa and Nana, were perhaps my biggest supporters and cheerleaders when I first announced at 14 years old that I was going to become a cantor. Unfortunately, my grandfather is no longer with us, but it was truthfully him who first planted the seed regarding me becoming a rabbi as well. I know if he was still here, he would also continue to push for me to become a moyel and probably a kosher butcher as well. Throughout my life, many people have asked where my singing voice and proclivity for leading services came from. Singing and music runs in my family, originating from my great-grandfather Joseph, after whom I am named, and whose daughter, my Nana, had always nurtured my musical talents and efforts. It was Nana who took me to each and every violin lesson and orchestra rehearsal, as well as every concert. And even when she wasn't able to do that anymore, she still came to the majority of performances that I gave. Nana always told me that I reminded her of her father, both in appearance, personality, mannerisms, but mostly in my singing voice. You see, my great-grandfather was a cantor too. And while he may not have been a cantorial superstar, there is certainly an element of continuing a personal and family cantorial tradition fostered throughout the majority of my life by Nana. While both Grandpa and Nana are no longer here physically, I know that they are still in attendance today. Last year, when the decision was made to search for a new congregation and community, it was one that was not done lightly or unilaterally. Every step of the way, I have consulted and considered my partner and best friend, my beautiful and amazing wife, Myra. When I originally received the phone call that I was chosen for this position, Harvey semi-joked with me that I was successful mainly because of you and the impact that you had on the members of this community. Truth be told, he wasn't joking at all. You held me up and supported me while I transitioned in between congregations. And it has not gone unnoticed how much of a change things will be once you yourself transition fully here to Albuquerque. You are my rock, and you are what keeps me sane most of the time. And I know that it will be you always by my side as we continue this adventure together. I love you to the moon and back. In equal measure, I must thank my in-laws for not only being here today, but for also sharing their daughter and family with me. Sé que será duro para nosotros vivir tan lejos, pero espero que pronto volvamos a estar todos juntos. And for everybody else, I said that I know it will be hard for us to be living so far away, but hopefully we will all be together again soon. One last person that has been a part of my life for the past 6 years is my stepson, Noah. I know that our family living apart the past several months has been hard, and that you've missed me, even if you won't say it out loud. You needed to finish high school, and your mom had a school contract to finish up before moving here. Very soon, in the next few months, we will be together again in one place. But until then, I first must wish you a very special and happy birthday. You see, everyone, Noah. And in approximately 24 days, he will be a high school graduate. Both Myra and I are thrilled and lucky that he has chosen to attend the University of New Mexico here in town this fall, also known as University Near Mom. I have thanked our performers, the professional and lay leadership of the congregation, and my family, but I have left out the most important group of people yet, all of you. As a community and congregation, you chose me to be your spiritual leader, which is why we are here today. And while I have said it many times, I will continue to say it many more. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let us allow this installation to symbolize our commitment to one another, and please allow me to express my thanks in a way that a cantor only knows how, with prayer and song. This setting of the Modim prayer, the prayer for thanks, is composed by Jacob Rappaport and is in the true traditional cantorial style, Modim. Shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avoteinu le'olam avad le'olam avad Tzur chayeinu le'olam avad Sheinu atahu. Ledor vador nodelecha nodelecha שבכל יום עמנו, שבכל יום עמנו, ואל נפלה אותך וטובותך. שבכל לית, שבכל לית, ערב ובוקר וצהריים, ערב ובוקר, ערב ובוקר, וצהריים. הטוב הטוב כי לא רחמך והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך כי לא תמו כי לא תמו כי לא תמו חסדיך והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך מעולם קיווינו לך. I am very grateful to now be the spiritual leader of this congregation. But 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, I won't be. I won't be around. Many of us won't be around. But who will be around are the people that are this big. And we need to ensure that this place is still here for them and that they are still here for this place. And so because of that, I would like to invite our religious school students to please now come up onto the bima. Ever since I came here back in November, every Sunday morning, I've had the honor and the privilege to lead these students in tefillah during religious school, as well as to teach at some additional classes. And in tefillah, we've been learning a new melody for the prayer L'Dor Vador from generation to generation. And so this version of L'Dor Vador is written by Craig Taubman. We've been singing it now for the past several months. And so our kids, our students they want to share this version with you today. So just give us a moment to set everything up, and then we will sing L'Dor Vador. Weren't they wonderful? And now to conclude this concert and this celebration, we will sing a musical version of the blessing that we just recited to conclude the installation ceremony. This is Mayor Machtenberg's version of Shehecheyanu.
Everyone. Thank you for those people who contributed. Thank you for those people who helped. Thank you to Hazzan and his associates who entertained us so spectacularly. And I just wanted to tell you one thing. I ran into a congregant on Friday who said to me, well, her daughter was on the search committee and she said it was a grueling process, but it was worth it. And I totally agree. So everybody come on downstairs. We're having a reception.
Thank you everyone for being here. Please join us downstairs.